Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Men of Yoshiwara Kikuya, or Gyakuten Yoshiwara, whichever you prefer. We are on Tokiwa's path on Chapter 4. So let's begin our reading. Chapter 4, Takeo's attendant Tokiwa. You should come to the shop more and show me your face. Takao. An alarm was going off in my head, telling me that it was a cheap come-on. But with the way things were going, I can't stop seeing Takao. And so today, I once again ducked into the gates of Kikuya. You don't get tired of doing this, do you? What exactly is so great about Takao? He was laying on his side while cradling his head with one hand. His free hand was touching the hem of my clothing as I sat on my knees. Please, don't come in past this line. I don't feel like doing anything to you since you're being so cautious around me. After what happened before, I could never be too careful. I'm fine if nothing happens. Well, even Iroha got angry with me after that last incident. So I'm keeping quiet for a little while. But you're always waiting without a single complaint. You're a pretty good client. Isn't that normal? Other women get jealous and start hideous fights. Fights? Well, in the end, money is the only thing that separates them. And that's why every woman competes to spend more and more money on him, making him our biggest earner. I guess that also makes it a vicious circle. I guess so. So, are his earnings really that much different from the other gentlemen of the night? I don't know in detail. Tokiwa closed his eyes, perhaps because he wasn't interested in this. If he's making that much money, why doesn't he just retire? If I had debt, it wouldn't be out of the question. To pay it off and be done with everything. Are you some sort of idiot? Tokiwa-san looked at me like I said something stupid. But not to be outdone by his expression, I was also left with a puzzled look. Just who do you think the gentlemen of the night are here for? For their parents, right? You think that they'll always have that money? All I could do was shake my head. If they could make a normal living by working, there would be no need to borrow money. But Yoshiwara exists because there are a lot of people who can't cut a life like that. Takao continues to send money to a parent like that. So that's why he won't retire. But still, his parents can't work? Not even a little? Can someone who has once tasted such sweet honey ever go back on their feet? For me, I think it would be impossible. In fact, if you ask everyone, a gentleman's parents only think of them as the breadwinners. I have heard that their parents are often asking for loans. No way! If it were me, I would cut my ties. He is a fool, that guy. He keeps sending money, not knowing that his real parent is deceiving him. At any rate, you sure do know a lot about Takao. Are you always fighting because you worry about him? You really are an idiot, aren't you? Again? With my cheeks twitching, I asked why. If a gentleman of the night doesn't distinguish himself, he'll never escape this place. You know your opponent to gain an advantage on them. I see. But aren't you lonely? It must be hard to continue acting tough all on your own. It's that kind of innocent, naive attitude that pisses me off. I'm not the only one. Takao, too. A girl like you who's innocent as a lamb is something that pisses you off more than just a little. Tokiwa spoke of a world that I knew nothing of, but perhaps that was the truth. That means that up until now, I may have been a bother to Takao. And just then, I don't remember asking you to substitute for me. Why are you in this room? When I looked up, it was Takao. I wonder when he'd come into the room. Smoking his pipe with a look of displeasure on his face, he glanced down at us. There's nothing to do, so we're just shooting the breeze to kill some time. This isn't a playground, you know. I was just having a chat with her, and you're scolding me? How ridiculous. Actually, you could be a little more grateful, you know. Aren't you being a little too selfish? shut up. Yes, I'll shut up. And it's probably best that I get out of here, too. Tokiwa-san got up sluggishly and immediately left the room. Misao, nothing happened this time? Yes, thank you very much for before. It's nothing. More than that, what did you talk about with Tokiwa? The distance between Takao and I shrunk as he quickly drew near. I wonder what happened. His face looks terribly stern. Are you tired today as well? No, for today's customer, all I did was serve sake. There's nothing to make me tired. Suddenly, Takao's eyes sharpened. That's all it took. It made me tense up like a steel bar had been put into my back. I wonder why. I was scared. I dragged my body back while seated to try and create some distance between Takao and me. Why are you running away? You just had a normal conversation with Tokiwa, right? Takao took one step closer to me. His face looked like that of an eagle targeting its prey. My voice trembled. I'm not trying to run away. Takao, I won't leave if you could just stop. There's no way that excuse will work. Finally, Takao's hand grabbed my wrist. Oh, why do you look so scared? You're hurting me. He grabbed my arms to constrict me, and I let out a scream. Takao was making me scared. Suddenly, the man inside him appeared before my eyes. Have you fallen in love with Tokiwa? No way! Well then, why won't you tell me? What are you hiding? Takao's face looked fearsome. Why is he doing this? There was a sharp pain in my arms. I'm not hiding anything. Isao, you're such a terrible liar. I can tell immediately. Don't underestimate these keen eyes of mine that have been refined here in the red light district. You've been looking sullen since I came into the room. Tokiwa-san said something mean. Whether I told him the truth or not, it would only hurt the both of us. If that's the case, then it's best to tell him a lie. It's just because Tokiwa said some mean things. Well, it's not really a lie. He was making her feel bad. That can't be true. I saw that suggestive smile on Tokiwa's face when he left. Oh, he's not gonna be happy with me now. That's the face he makes when he harasses me. Huh? You didn't want to say that. Alright, I'll stop asking then. But this is Yoshiwara. It'll be a problem if the look on your face is a troubled one in Kikuya. I'll have your mind filled with something else when you leave this place. Oh! Suddenly, Takao pushed me down and placed his hand inside my clothing. No! Takao, stop it! But it was a little too sudden. Why do you need to fight this? Didn't you come here to do this sort of thing? More than that, it's about time. This is a good time for you to learn about men, no? Huh? Not understanding what Takao was talking about, I replied with a question. I don't know how he took my question. Takao just twisted his mouth, laughed, and continued to talk. Don't be shy. I'm telling you that I, Takao-sama, the best courtesan in this shop, will take your purity. There shouldn't be anything greater than that, right? I don't understand. Why does it have to be like this? Takao, no! Inside my clothing, Takao's fingers began to gently fondle my bosom. He's using his hands softly and gently, but I feel afraid. I didn't imagine it would be this scary to be touched by a man like this. Why are you crying? Look at my face, Misao. I'm the same gentleman Takao-sama that you've always known. Even so, say that he's not his usual self. No, this isn't right. This isn't the Takao that I've always known. No, I don't know this Takao. Then I'll teach you. All about Takao-sama's manliness. Takao gave a bewitching smile, and then he began to gently trace my white skin with his fingers. His heat-induced caressing made my body turn stiff. Don't tense up like that. It's better to relax and entrust your body to me. What do you say to guiding you to a paradise that is out of this world? Despite being this scary? Next will be paradise? Takao's tongue licked my neck, and then he started to relentlessly attack my collarbone. My fear increased every time a chill ran through my body. Haven't your feelings changed? No, I can't. Oh, you don't like this? But your body seems to be saying something entirely different. Takao lifted his face, and a bewitching smile came across his face. Huh? The buds of my bosom started to become firm. Sorry. They wrote it kind of funny. Looks like they're ripe for licking. Even being busy with my neck situation, as he said that, I noticed the first time, the center of my bosom was expanding. What? And the center of my bosom became hotter. That doesn't make any sense. As I became stunned at what was happening, my clothes were hiked up. Well, this is much more, brazen than her story with Hayato. The fact that you didn't resist means that you too are an ordinary woman. No, you're wrong! But was he wrong? I started to become unsure of myself. What beautiful skin. As if to tease me, his tongue slowly slithered up my body, starting from the area around my navel. Occasionally he would touch me with his fingers. He was not tenacious like he was when licking my neck. This was frustratingly painful. Maybe even this is one of Takao's tricks. I'm ashamed to be manipulated like this. You seem to be in pain, but I'll end that right now. Takao's tongue licked my swollen fruits. This is my own bosom, but I had no idea something like this would happen. The tips of my bosom were burning hot and ripe. I imagined that they were being pulled by some sort of string. You feel it, eh? What do you think? There was nothing false in my words, right? Yeah. Your sorrow has disappeared and you look like you feel quite good. I'll erase Tokiwa's existence from your mind. Tokiwa-san? You're my client. Though it's just one night, with this you really will become my wife. I wonder if it was on purpose. I made obscene sounds, my body trembled. Shudders ran through my body like an electric current. Even though my heart did not follow, the fact that my body began to gradually feel a sweet numbness. How do you feel about having your purity taken like this today? Is it scary? Pleasurable? Hate it? Or are you happy? I don't know. I was being honest. There were no words to express what I was feeling now. And I had absolutely no idea what to do. Just then, Takao's movement stopped. Huh? With watery eyes, I looked at Takao's appearance. When I did, Takao's face looked terribly sad. That's not the only technique I have to pleasure a customer. Did I go overboard to pin down a protesting woman? I'm sorry, Misao. Takao? Let's rest for today. His sullen face expressed his heartfelt apology. Takao suddenly fixed my ruffled clothing, and then he gently lifted me up. Why, all of a sudden? That question remained stuck in my throat, and would never be voiced. It was only my body that burned for him. In the end, he didn't touch me for the rest of the day. Chapter 6. Someday I Want to Go With You. Oh, when did I fall asleep? I was still a bit hazy. But the events of the previous night came to my head. How and where was I touched by Takao? The memory then came back to me in clear, vivid detail. But when I opened my eyes, I didn't see Takao there. I guess I was ashamed to face him after what happened last night. So, without much thought, I let out a sigh of relief. However, have you woken up? Takao was seated by the window looking outside. His back was still turned to me. Yes. Surprised, my voice became shrill. I tried to greet him, but my voice didn't come out well. What's wrong? You're still awfully quiet. Is there something wrong with your physical condition? I couldn't feel Takao's usual warmth in his voice. I sensed something very lonely, and it made my chest feel tight. I wonder why he was being so cold this morning. Was it because I resisted him too much? No, it's nothing. Still, I told myself to try and make casual conversation. So, what are you looking at? Cherry blossoms. Oh, the great tree of Yoshiwara, right? What a large cherry tree. It's really beautiful. I guess you could say that it matches the red light district well. I guess so. I've come to learn of solitude, loneliness, and when things are about to end. Isn't that what gentlemen of the night are about? I don't think it's like that. Well, that sounds like something you'd say. Takao only looked at the cherry blossoms and would not look my way. I want to see the cherry blossoms. I want to go with you to see the cherry blossoms too. It was at that point that Takao began to look my way. His face was unusually gentle and calm, but there was still loneliness somewhere in his face. It made me feel sad. Takao. It'd be nice to go someday. Yes. What a gentle voice. I never knew that he could produce such a gentle voice. Despite the fact that his voice was so cold up until earlier, cool and warm, he seduced and charmed me using those two elements. I felt sadness and, at the same time, my chest felt very painful. They say that the gentlemen of the night are not allowed outside of Yoshiwara. You either have to have your freedom bought or you retire. I heard that the existence of Takao's parents made it difficult for him to retire. It would be impossible for him to see the cherry blossoms. To start even without is difficult. Despite his situation, Takao said that he wanted to go and see the cherry blossoms. While immersed in my thoughts, Takao stepped away from the window and approached me. Shouldn't you be heading back? Oh, yes. An odd silence continued on from before. It was nice of him to see me off, but something didn't feel good about it. Get home safely. Yes, well then... Wait. Huh? What kind of place are you going home to? I thought he was suddenly calling me to stop, but he asked me something crazy like that. The place I go home to. I still didn't want anyone to know that I'm the daughter of a shipping agent, because I wanted to see Takao. Because I wanted to be near Takao, even if just for a little while. Because I would be thought of as the daughter of a wealthy family. Quiet place. It's a very quiet place. Sounds boring. So, that's why you rich folk come to the red light district. For reasons other than getting pregnant? It seems that I've created a misunderstanding here. I'm sorry that I held you back. Oh, no, it's okay if I come. I started to say something, but I soon stopped talking. Is it okay to say something so shameless? It doesn't seem like Takao was really in the mood. And just then...
If you keep playing around the entrance, you'll be in the way.
That voice coming from behind me made me jump back abruptly. Oh, I said the wrong voice. When I looked, standing there was Kagero-san, with a mean look on his face. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Kagero, she's my client.
Have you not been taught any manners? I appreciate the advice, but perhaps you should teach your own attendant some manners before saying that.
What did you say, you brat?
An angry tone briefly flashed across the still childlike profile. It seemed that this could turn into a fight at any moment. I rushed forward to get a word in between them. You're not with Kagero-san today? I was about to head to school after this. My destination is outside of Yoshiwara. So Kagero-san isn't supposed to be with me. Is that so? You sure are strange. Well then, if you would excuse me. Did I make him angry? That guy knows nothing of charm. Well, I guess it's no wonder since he's attached to Kagero and all. Well then, get home safely. Yes. Once he sent me off with those words, Takao immediately went back in. Again, Takao showing me his cold side. I wonder if I've offended him somehow. I sensed that I had been coldly abandoned, and it made my chest ache. Perhaps this was yet another trick of the gentleman of the night. If it is, then what a heart-wrenching trick it is. Is this so that I won't forget him? Was that his plan? While thinking about that, I made my way out of the shop alone.
What a gloomy face. Did Kikuya's courtesan do a less than satisfactory job?
Kagero stood leaning against the entryway of the shop. Don't surprise me! Excuse me. I haven't reached a
point where I can take clients yet, so I thought I'd learn what I can.
You mean it's for future reference?
Yes, could you tell me what happened?
Though confused, I spoke while being careful to select my words. I don't know much about Takao.
You're not in the same position, so it's only natural, isn't it?
Obviously, it would be difficult to understand him, but that's not it. How should I put this? To a boy much younger than myself, what could I offer as advice? But it's not like there's someone that can offer me advice when I get home. Before I knew it, I had opened my mouth to speak, probably because that boy had such earnest eyes. For a boy like him, only the truth would do. He probably wanted it in plain words. That's what I thought. One moment you think that he's being really nice to you, and then the next he's cold as ice. One moment you think he's so full of life that he could burst into flames, and then he's emotionless. Just what is he thinking what is he feeling? I have absolutely no idea. When I said that, Kagero let out a brief sigh.
What? You're worried about something like that?
For me, it's not just something.
I see. It must be hard to be a sheltered princess.
Huh? I'm not...
No, forget it. I might sound like I'm being a little sarcastic, but I hope that you don't misunderstand.
It's not a little, though. You sound really sarcastic.
Takao-san is a courtesan. If you think about that, then the answer should come to you.
Could it be?
Do you understand now? It's all for money. For a gentleman of his caliber, it wouldn't be strange for him to retire.
I heard that he's sending money to his parents.
It seems so. The rumor is that he's taking care of 2 parents.
2 people on his own? There's a high chance that his father is a courtesan. It would make sense for him to support the mother, that he's been connected to from an early age. But it's hard to believe that he's been taking care of his father, too. As for I have no knowledge of my father's name, age, or where he was a courtesan.
I heard that as a former gentleman of the night, father is bedridden due to illness. As I expected, I haven't heard any rumors about his mother.
Is that so?
So that's why people of noble birth like you are the ones that he wants to hold on to, even if it's only one person.
Noble?
There's no use hiding it. Rumors spread quickly. Aren't you the daughter of a famous trader? Why so glum? You can still change the courtesan, you know.
Yes.
It seems that Tokiwa-san failed. But if it were Kagura-san, he wouldn't let you make such a face.
I realized that my face displayed the fact that I'd been hurt, but I wasn't about to nod in agreement to Kagero's words.
It's not something you have to answer to immediately. Please think about it. Well then, if you would excuse me.
Oh yes, do your best with your studies. Kagero-san headed towards the Inari shrine. While thinking that I need to get going myself, by chance, I noticed a cherry tree and went near it. Even if you can't leave Yoshiwara, it would be nice to see the cherry blossoms under this tree. Perhaps Takao as a courtesan saw himself in the fluttering petals. I want to be near him as much as possible. That's the only thing I can do, but just then I felt someone's gaze and I looked up. Oh, there I saw Takao staring at the cherry blossoms just like me. While in front of him, I smiled toward... No, call his name. Takao! Before I knew it, I had called his name. We caught the attention of the people coming to and fro, but I don't care. I just felt my chest tighten at the sight of Takao's sad smile. It was like Takao and I were the only 2 people in the world. The cherry blossoms fluttered between our gazes. Takao, who had been confined in the red light district. Takao, you who have become so precious to me. Takao, Takao, Takao. When I looked up, Takao had turned his back to me, as if someone had called him. Moments later, he looked down again. But his previous smile was gone. He then glanced at me and left. I fondly kept the memory of his previous smile in my heart and left Yoshiwara. Alright, that's it for our 2 chapters of the day. I hope to see you in some of my future videos. I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.